Hi, I'm Andrew Schierberg, attorney and owner at Stages Elder Law and Estate Planning, and I've been accused of liking to talk a lot. So I've challenged myself to come up with some videos where I explain an elder law or estate planning related topic in under 5 minutes. So here we go. Okay, I want to talk about veterans' pension benefits. And you may have heard of these before, but you may have heard of it as aid and attendance. So, aid and attendance is a part of the Veterans Pension Program, but it is actually the whole program is called the Veterans Pension. And so, what is it? Well, the Veterans Pension is a benefit that can be available to some veterans, but there are some requirements. The first requirement is that the veteran has to have served during wartime. So they have to have had at least 90 days of active duty service, and at least one day of that has to have been during wartime. And so there are dates for World War II, there are dates for the Korean conflict, there are dates for Vietnam. The dates for Vietnam are a little confusing because it's the only wartime that's split. So there's two different times, two different date ranges based on whether you served in country or not. And then there is a pretty open time regarding the Gulf War. So that's the first requirement: wartime service, at least 90 days of active duty, at least one day during wartime. Then the VA is going to look at income. So your income has to be lower than what the pension amount can be. And the maximum pension for 2024 is $32,729. So your income has to be below that. That's the maximum. You might not qualify for the maximum, but your income has to be lower than what the benefit would be. And so that 32,000 limit, let's say your income was 30,000. Well, you'd only be eligible for a $2,000 annual benefit. But unreimbursed medical expenses are deducted from your income. So oftentimes we find people applying for VA pension benefits when they're in an assisted living facility that's running, $35, $45, $5,500 a month, and typically that cost totally negates their income, so they're eligible for the full benefit. The last qualifying bit is that a person, your assets have to be under $155,356 to be exact for 2024. Doesn't include your house, car, personal belongings, but includes pretty much everything else, and it includes your annual income in that net worth amount. So it is really an income and asset based benefit, but many people who don't necessarily think they would qualify actually can qualify because of their unreimbursed medical expenses. You can also plan to qualify. So there is a 3-year look back on any kind of transfers that you make, but there are steps you can take in advance if you think you may eventually need the VA pension and you want to get qualified a little sooner than you would have otherwise. So for as I mentioned before, it's called the VA pension. There are different levels. There's the base pension. There's something called housebound, which is basically just for someone who is, as it sounds, housebound because of a permanent disability. And then there's the aid and attendance, which is the highest level. So that $32,729 benefit that I mentioned before, that would be for a veteran with a dependent who would qualified for the aid and attendance benefit. And to qualify for the aid and attendance benefit, you need to have require assistance with some of the activities of daily living, like getting dressed, feeding yourself, getting to the bathroom, things like that. You would that's the first one, or it might be the case that you are bedridden. So that would be another reason. If you're a patient in a nursing home, that would be another one. Or there's certain eyesight limitations that could also qualify you for aid and attendance. So it's an important benefit to know about. Again, this comes into play mostly for people, of course, veterans who are going into an assisted living facility. That's where we see the biggest benefit with the veterans pension. There is an application process. It's really important if you think you might qualify to get that process started as quick as possible. You can file something called an intent to file, which sort of locks in your date. You do need to speak with a VA accredited agent to get this done. There are numerous accredited agents, and of course I'm an accredited attorney here at Stages Elder Law and Estate Planning. And that is my overview of the VA pension. If you'd like to schedule an appointment to talk more about this, please give us a call or visit our website where you can book an appointment at your convenience.